everyone in the space? Give me a little shout out. Woo!
Bienvenidos a todos.
So it sounds like there's a lot of us, but I assure you we are all very, very far away from each other. So should anyone sneeze, it'll be okay. We'll be fine. You had a question for me.
How many years of All Souls Procession is
That
this?
wasn't the question.
What year is this?
This is the worst year ever, everybody. Woo! 2020, worst year ever. Yes.
Yeah, it's been a very difficult year
Yes.
for pretty much everyone in lots of ways.
Isn't that nice to know, though, like that you know it's like the worst? Hopefully.
The worst so far. We
Oh.
haven't gone into next year yet.
I'm so positive.
I'm just being realistic.
How long have we been doing this? This is the 31st year of the All Souls Procession. 31 years.
31 years of honoring those lost and commemorating and celebrating their lives as well in, whatever means that is for each person. And we've got to say that it's quite odd this year to not have walked with everyone at this point and been walked through the emotions of each person and that roller coaster that is between seeing those people who are in deep mourning and grieving and those people who are in celebration of the people that they've lost. I'm generally pulling the urn, and so I'm walking through the crowds of all of that happening, and seeing that roller coaster of emotion usually puts me into the right mode to be speaking to you before I stand in front of a microphone. And so I just have to recognize how odd that is.
Spoiler alert, Randy Young pulls the urn, in case you were wondering who is that masked man? Who is that guy who's in front of the urn incognito most years? We don't really see you.
Yeah, I pull the urn and you pull the All Souls Procession along with Paul. So, we're each pulling our weight, and I don't think my weight quite equals what you guys pull down each year. So.
Oh, smoke up my butt. I love it. Let's introduce ourselves. My name is Nadia Hagen.
And I'm Randy Young.
And I'm the artistic director for the parade, and I have been for over 20 years, the artistic director, with my amazing husband, the technical director, Paul Weir. We also have a little, make some noise.
Shout out to those that make it be.
We also have a little theater company called Flam Shen, where we do some cool circus stuff. And now we have a venue, which we're sitting in the middle of, which is the MSA Annex Festival Grounds.
The ability to continue to spread culture throughout our community in multiple ways. It's quite amazing.
And then I want you to introduce yourself, Randy. So Randy Young does some really incredible things. Tell us about yourself, Randy.
Well, it's been a rather interesting walk. It's hard to do a quick shot of it, but through doing a lot of different things in my life, I was asked to manage a jaguar reserve, and through that work, I started my own nonprofit called La Tierra del Jaguar, or Land of the Jaguar. And through that work, I am trying to help save the jaguar by healing the land and helping the people. And so that's one aspect of my being, and another big part of my life has been, for many years now, the All Souls Procession, and recognizing those people who have created the world that we live in, for better or worse, and working through that each year in whatever ways have been, really pushed to the forefront of your mind.
Thanks. What do I want to talk about? I want to tell everybody some of the things you're going to get to see on the live stream tonight. So the live stream will be running from 6 to 8 p.m. this evening. And we have some really wonderful submissions, video art pieces, some sort of ceremonial tutorials, a wonderful submission by one of the storytellers from Stories That Soar. And we also have some nice guests we're going to be able to bring in. Some of the folks that have made these events happen over the years. So we'll get to pick their brains a little bit and talk to them in between the submissions.
And we're also taking comments through the live feed,
Are we?
I believe. Are we?
Are we? I don't.
I should know this,
I don't.
but we're not. Okay.
I don't want to know.
Okay. Well, and there's through these submissions, there'll also be. Are we doing Esther's project as part of this?
Yeah, but will you tell everybody in Spanish about the live
things
stream?
we're going to be seeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So between 6 and 8, just give them all the.
Entonces ahora va a haber varias diferentes partes de lo que sería la procesión tradicionalmente. Va a haber el proyecto de los ancestros, hay un proyecto, vamos a tener varias gentes aquí que van a estar hablando sobre cómo ellos han funcionado con la procesión en años anteriores, y vamos a tener varias diferentes videos que vamos a pasar para que puedan ver partes de las cosas las presentaciones que han hecho de Stories de Soar, un video sobre Little Angels y varias cosas así que vamos a poder pasar sobre el tiempo, y vamos a estar con Steve Roach también con una presentación de música bien bonita.
Sí. And I want to talk a little bit about something new that we did this year, which we'd been talking about for several years, but we hadn't instituted it yet. And because of COVID-19, it seemed the time was right to be able to launch the mausoleum. And so we had the chance to launch the mausoleum this year. And so that consisted of these really beautiful video installations that you see. Maybe you can see them high above me. These really nice big screens where we could show the Ancestors Project and update it and keep adding to the slideshow, show the submissions that people had been bringing in, show little snippets of past years. And underneath that, as part of the installation, we had these beautiful sculptures that were made by Torrene Wolf. And we moved the community altar that had been housed at Mercado for many years. We gave it a little more breadth, and it was installed here on Calle de los Higos, and people could do a drive-through. They could bike through. And so every evening between 6 and 8 p.m., people came by and lit candles and got to honor their loved ones. It was really nice because we had that open and available to people for a 2-week span. And I feel like that was really nice. A lot of times the rush and drum of the procession and people wanting to get their prayers in, in a very limited amount of time is kind of chaotic and stressful for people. And the mausoleum really allowed people to have this nice long period of time to engage and not feel rushed. And so we're going to keep that. We're going to keep it and do it every year. Yeah, we really loved having that.
I've very much liked being able to come by and see that, and see the passage of it through time, see how it's evolved, and just, whatever time I'm going by, it's just even from as I drive by, because I stay here in the neighborhood, I'm able to see it regularly, and it reminds me of the season that we're in, and how difficult this year has been, and how many people have lost loved ones through this year.
So I think we're just about ready to share with you some of the submissions that people have been sending to us digitally and in person from all over the world. So the Ancestors Project, I believe, began about 12 years ago, and it kind of began before we really had internets and people really understood that they could digitally submit something, but we've grown up with it, and now we have thousands of submissions that come to us. People send us pictures of their family members, pictures of their pets. And I have to say my favorite are the revenge photos, where people take revenge on dead relatives by sending in photos that they find to be unflattering. And
well, I think a lot of people want to send a picture that is the way they saw them. you know, and so that's the image of that person that they want.
I'm
to
pretty sure that's
stay
going to
with.
happen to me.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So yeah,
I
let's
can only
cut.
hope I'm remembered without a picture.
The Ancestors Project, everyone. Okay. So then we'll get to here and we'll reset. And that goes for 5 minutes.
And then us again, or something else.
Yeah, well, let me see.
But we're all the way till the end of that.
Yeah, we've got a minute. So Karen's gonna come and we'll go ahead and we'll set her up.
Okay,
She's
so
gonna be our first guest.
yeah, so that'll be there.
Panel 2, which you'll see Karen in this room. There's, I've got a couple of questions for guests. What inspired you about this year, and can you share? And so if people don't have a lot, we'll just do some talking.
Okay.
But if people do have, answers to those questions, they'll take up that 3 minutes easily.
Okay.
That was the longest block we have. Is that 5 minute block?
That's an interesting thing. This whole place.
To do?
Yeah, it's a trip, right?
I'm freezing.
You're freezing. We should switch jackets, but yours wouldn't fit me very well.
How is that?
Okay, so we'll let you know when the 5 minutes of the video has passed, and then I'll kind of.
Oh,
Can
great.
you see me right there? Kind of where the camera's at, and I'll kind of cue you.
I need you to like come right here and be like,
Like it.
yeah, that's what I need you to do.
Okay. All right, no problem. I'll come up here.
Once you step into the light, I can see you. As long as you're sort of in this pool of light, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But wait a minute. So
Awesome, thank you.
after that 5 minutes, or after?
No, it's
All of
it's
this.
actually after. We have quite a bit.
So we don't
I don't think we come back in right after this.
we
5
don't come
minutes.
back in until like after the Steve Roach set.
Okay.
That's the next panel for us.
So they're
Did I-
saying they don't have to. I don't know. They're saying that they're not going on next. That it's a ban. Oh, it's another video after that.
Yeah, there's 2 videos.
Yeah, there's 2 more videos
There's the-
after Ancestors.
Okay.
So there's this one and there's this one.
Okay. All right. Well,
Well,
once those-
check in with
yeah,
him.
They have those videos. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm hearing them right now. So I'll give you the cue when we're ready to.
To go back into this one.
Awesome,
Okay.
thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
yeah, you could get up. You could
Yep,
stretch
I'm gonna
your
get up
legs.
for a
I mean,
moment.
it's literally going to be like.
Hey, Randy. Hi, Nadia. Hello. It's so good to see you. Nice to see you too.
Why are you calling me? You're like.
I broke my leg in February real bad, and so I've been kind of recovering and healing. So doing a little camping, a little hiking, but nothing like whoa. That was a serious fun adventure. But
That beautiful piece that we just saw was Steve Roach and Serena. We're really blessed to have Steve Roach return. He was our musical director for last year and definitely a hero of mine from when I was a musician back in the day. The bands that I wanted to join, I remember, they were like, well, what do you know about music? And I was like, I know some things. And they gave me this very worn out cassette tape. And they were like, well, listen to this. This is what you need to know. And it was Steve Roach. that was a long, long time ago. Yeah, musical pioneer Steve Roach. And we're blessed to have him here with us live. And he'll be playing our soundtrack for us this evening for the burning of the urn.
And that piece was called Piercing the Veil.
No. That
No,
piece
sorry,
was called
I had the wrong
Remembrance
piece.
in
I'm
Waves.
sorry. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Randy didn't get the cassette.
I didn't get the cassette, exactly.
We have a wonderful guest with us tonight. This is Karen Falkenstrom. Her group, Odaiko Sonora, is absolutely pivotal and one of the mainstays of arts and culture here in Tucson. And you have been the official accompaniment for the urn through the streets for the last, how many years?
Since,
a lot of years.
2016.
My
Oh, sorry,
heartbeat
it's
and my
2006. What am I saying? 2006. That's longer than 2016. A lot
my heartbeat
longer.
and my pace has been set by you every year for many
yeah.
years now.
Right, because you're always in front pulling the sometimes very heavy cart. I do like to think about our drama as the heartbeat for the urn, but also as encouragement for you to be pulling that, because that is a labor of love.
Having a secondary heartbeat is helpful whenever you're carrying all those burdens and all the people's
Yeah.
remembrances and walking through that. It definitely helps a
Yeah.
lot to have that pulse helping to drive us forward and helping to keep us on track. And it's always been very appreciated.
You remember when the route was like 3 miles long?
Yeah, and
all over the
uphill
hill.
both ways.
up and down the
The interesting
hills.
thing about pulling the urn was whenever it's downhill, people think, oh, well, parts of it are easier.
No.
But when it's downhill, it's trying to run you over. And so it's kind of like all those souls are trying to get here and be released, and they're pushing on you during
Yeah.
those times. And going through the underpass, you definitely had to,
Yeah.
go from being pushed to dragging them up the other side of it to be able to get here. And it was an interesting way that all played out in the longer forms. And now being able to walk along the river and feel that path of time that you walk down when you're walking any riverbed is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I really love the way the procession has developed over the years. From the early times, my first year, I was riding on the cart with the urn down 4th Avenue and down through the 4th Avenue underpass and down Congress Street. And I just remember, I think there were only about 5,000 people that year.
Only.
Like 2006.
Only 5,000.
Only 5,000.
That would be a lot
right.
this year.
Yeah, there'll be about that many. No, there'll be hundreds of thousands. Actually, I usually teach the dance and the chant that we do every year when we process in some free workshops here in Tucson. And since we weren't able to do that, what I have been doing is working with a company called Cadon, which is a taiko resource online. And we're doing a workshop where we're teaching all 4 parts of the dance and the chant and the drum beat and the flute part that we play usually when we process. And the beauty of this, although the pandemic kind of sucks, is that people, in fact, some of them are watching. Part of the workshop is a watch party for tonight, so I'm hoping that some of our friends there from all over the world. We have people from the UK, people from Germany, people from Scotland, people from Hawaii and Canada who have been able to tune in via Zoom and learn the piece that we've created for the All Souls Procession over the last 14 years.
Hopefully they'll be able to accompany us next year.
That's what I'm trying to get them to do. I'm like, wait till next year, come, you know the dance, you know the chant, come and dance with us and walk with us next year.
There'll be a lot of people walking with us next year, I have a feeling, after
Yeah.
everything going on right now, I have a feeling that the numbers are only going to be increasing, and we're going to end up needing
Oh, yeah.
the backup of each other at that point.
Yeah.
Can you, do you have a funny anecdote,
A
or
funny
or
story.
it could just be a tearjerker. You
funny.
could give me
Oh,
something
yeah.
funny or something that makes us cry
Oh,
from a
God.
past All Souls.
Either or, nothing moderate. Okay.
No,
Nothing
no,
Got it.
I'm
moderate.
not
We're tired of
interested in
moderate.
moderate.
No ho-hums.
That's not
All
really
right.
my jam.
Geez, something funny. I know there's always funny stuff, and of course, at the moment, having been put on the spot,
Oh.
I'm not thinking of one.
I'm sorry.
I will say, I'll go to sad first.
Do sad.
Because during one of the years, 2 years ago, my father passed away. And so one of the things that walking, being involved in All Souls for so long, understanding that death is a natural part of life, but also just like getting together with people and sharing that experience of grieving and understanding how common it is and how important it is to really accept it, to embrace it. When my dad passed and he was in the hospital, I was able to hold his hand as he was passing, which I'm just going to tear up now. But part of that courage came from being in this procession year after year and seeing people face their loss and share their loss and celebrate life and be brave in the face of it. So I wanted to say thank you because that was so not funny. But that was
Thank you.
It
I
brought about a
realized, yeah.
giggle of love, so
Well, I-
that works.
I'm sorry?
It brought about a giggle of love for you
Yeah,
after the fact, so.
Just my ability to be present in that moment really comes from having had this experience year after year. So, I think of this as a community service, and I think the more people who come can be part of it, even now from your homes, to think about your your loved ones who've passed, to know that there's other people who are with you. It really is something that binds us together and strengthens us.
And I think you bring up a very powerful point there, that even for people who come who maybe haven't experienced that deep personal loss themselves,
Yeah.
having come, like you were saying, and been around it and been with people and helped them through their process of grieving,
Yeah.
helps you know how to prepare for that and be
Yeah.
there in the moment for your family
Yeah.
after you've been here and experienced this in this deep of a way, and really become part of what is one giant community heart
Yeah.
that beats together to the drum as we walk.
Right. And I think it really strengthens you being able to bear witness for others, to be an advocate, to help them through the journey. So, this is a really important part. This is probably the most important ritual for me every year now, and I love to share it with people. So all my friends out there in the Tycho world who are watching,
Yay, thank you, Karen.
so much.
Thanks for sharing that
you're
with
so
us.
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you
Totally appreciate
for
it.
doing
Thank
this.
you for bearing yourself.
And we're gonna watch a submission by Stories That Soar. This year we did not have a procession of little angels, and I know that we all missed it. And what we want to share with you now is a really lovely story that was written by one of the kids that submitted a story to Stories That Soar. There's a little intro. Sharon will tell us a little bit more about that, and then she'll be here to talk to us on the panel. So let's watch that.
This next piece is an homage to the children's altars, which we usually see at the Procession of Little Angels. The soundtrack comes from a beautifully written story by Perla, a third grader from Robison Elementary. Renee Schmidt, a high school student, composed the music and sings the song. The images were submitted to the All Souls Ancestor Project in honor of children who have passed. Please enjoy I Love My Family.
I love my family and my cousins and my friends. I love them all the same. They are all in my heart. I love them all. I love them all. I love them all the same. I love them And I will never forget about them, even when they pass away. I love them all. I love them all. I love them all the same. I love them all. I love my family. And I will never forget about them, even when they pass away.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hi. So, joining us right now is Sharon O'Brien. Yeah, make some noise. Are you alive? Is everyone alive out there? I know, we're cold for desert rats. I'm cold. Sharon O'Brien is the amazing director for Stories That Soar that has been coming and joining us and making Procession of Little Angels every year so incredibly special. So, hi.
Hey, Nadia.
Hi, Nadia.
Oh, yeah, talking to your mic.
Hello.
So I wanted to ask you, you said a little bit about it right before the video, but I wanted to ask you, what's inspiring you this year? What's helping you stay inspired?
You know, just the fact that I absolutely love the Procession of Little Angels and All Souls Procession. You know, it's become such a part of who I am and who we are as a community that this time of year I just feel it. I feel the need to have this experience with my community and to honor the people who we've lost. I lost my father this year, and so many people. I have a friend who lost her mother, another friend who lost both her parents, you know, and all of these children who are gone, and we're not able to properly have the rituals we're used to having. And so that's really my inspiration, is just that this is a part of who we are as a community, and I need it. I need it. I know we all need it. And so it's a matter of just adapting and finding ways to stay connected with each other.
And in this year, it seems so much too like where we have to find these really different methods of of connecting with each other and communicating. I know that so much of what you do is about dramaturge and enacting. I really love everything that you guys are doing video-wise. I feel like we got to watch some of the videos last night for a virtual procession of little angels, and your troupe has really sort of embraced the medium and come up with some really awesome creative ways to express that aren't in the physical plane. And I think that must be really inspiring for the text, for the kids that write those texts, to see how you've expanded the way that you can dramatize them, how you can enact them.
Well, thank you for that, Nadia. I really have been enjoying it. It's a huge learning experience. I think it's like all of us, just learning new things every day that we want to learn or that we don't, but we do, because we're so motivated for the mission of the work that we do. And really that's what motivates me, is that these kids they still have stories to tell, and we're still going to listen. And I have an amazing troupe of performers, actors, musicians that want to tell these stories. And so it was really a matter of just saying, yeah, we're going to find a way to do this. And I've been learning a lot. And some days it's more difficult than others, but at the end of the day, it's really about getting those stories out there. And yeah, giving these kids a new way of seeing their words and ideas.
Yeah, I
come to
think
life.
it's interesting that now, doing Zoom, being on video calls, that it's performative in its nature, just that we're on screens and sort of performing for each other. If we want to, take that tack, even this is definitely a really big learning curve for us, for me, on the panel to be here and interviewing.
So true. Usually we see Nadia at the very end of the night in the dark, when she kind of comes out of her little hiding space.
Dirty and exhausted.
But I wanted
So
to mention
good for
real
you,
quick.
Nadia.
I wanted to mention real quick with what you're saying about dramatizing the kids, things that they write and things like that. A lot of folks may not understand what takes place with the procession and with the things that the spirit group is doing and the things that the performers are doing on stage and those kinds of things. Like, a lot of folks haven't been exposed to much theater and that kind of stuff. And that is, all of those things are in some way designed to help people connect to their feelings and connect to their own beings and their selves through seeing those movements and those things and all of the different things being, again, dramatized, just like what you do for the kids. That's a big part of what goes on stage and what Nadia helps to create there, and what the spirit group and all the different performers create with that, is being able to dramatize something so that people can connect with it in a more primal way than what we connect to when we only have our rational brain engaged. It gets in the way of so much of life and so much of feeling.
My brain's always in my way.
Well, luckily it gets out of the way when the performance hits, because at that point everyone gets to feel what you have going on, even though your brain is still going off on everything else. For everyone else, the emotion and the rawness of that brings people to that feeling. And I think that's one of the things that might be difficult this year, is the fact that we're here talking in front of a panel and there's the videos going on, but there's not that connection. That visceral connection will take place whenever we have the live performance here and the burning of the urn. But in generally, it's already been a part during the procession, during the procession of little angels, during the whole weekend leading up to this. And so for those of you who are coming to this and mourning this process and being in that moment, it's difficult for us to stay there the whole time of this and engage those people who aren't in that moment. So just be understanding and kind of walk with us on this, because it's a very different walk we're doing this year as the procession. So
Thank you, Sharon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Nadia.
thank you.
And thank you, for all the creative energy you've put in over the years. And I want to introduce the next piece that we're going to see. This was submitted by Shelley Weiss. She, for years, was our angel, and our angel would create a barrier between the participants in the procession and elements, shall we say, that were unfriendly to the procession. So we had people that were troublemakers. They would show up and they would stand on street corners and they would regale us with their diatribe that was pretty unwelcome and not very nice. And Shelley would dress in angel gear with huge wings. She would be completely silent, and she would create a barrier between herself and people who just wanted to be disruptive, who weren't really interested in the flow. And so, wow, I have to give her props. That's a pretty brave and courageous place to put yourself in, right? Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, shout out for that.
And we're thankful.
She submitted this video to us. This is the Angel Proclamation. It's a mix of music and ritual and even a little tutorial about creating and making ritual for oneself. Here we go.
Welcome. We gather tonight to honor those who have passed on. Not only those who have passed during this turn of the wheel, but also the ancestors who have gone before us. Tonight, you will meet four spirits: the spirit of grief, the spirit of the dead, the spirit of animism, and the spirit of fierce love. I embody the spirit of grief. Tonight, I wear a medical mask to honor those who have passed from COVID-19 this year. I call forth the spirit of animism and the spirit of fierce love for the chalice lighting.
Welcome, beautiful humans. I am the spirit of fierce love. I come this evening with all of these players to speak to you, to soothe the grieving and honor the dead. To begin, we must light the chalice. So I call upon the spirit of animism to light the fire. Thank you, spirit of animism, for always being there, for knowing the depths of the universe, for guiding our nights and our ways, and for keeping the power of the fire as we move through this ritual.
Grief is a universal emotion. It is both individual and collective. We grieve loss, not only from death, but also from disappointment.
Many traditions around grief that can be modified to suit your style of grieving. If you don't have a tradition at hand to review or modify, don't worry. It's easy to create a personal ritual to honor the dead. One simple way is to fashion an altar of loving intent. Gather together items that remind you of the deceased. Put them all in one small space. A small table or a shelf in your home. Find a place that feels good. Somewhere that calls to you. Maybe it's a windowsill where the morning sun kisses the kitchen while you drink your first cup of coffee or tea. Maybe that place is in the garden by candlelight. No space is wrong. What's important is that you fill that space with loving intent and that the item of grief is set in motion. Truths and understandings about our deeper selves are revealed. For death is not just about the absence of the deceased. Mostly, it's about learning how we as individuals process loss and suffering after our loved ones have passed. For there's no denying a great change has begun to transform our reality on this planet. We have no choice but to respond to evolutionary forces such as COVID and climate change. As social norms and structures continue to break down worldwide, there will be great suffering and despair. Many more deaths will come. And at a pace we never expected. Grief will feel unquenchable at times, and darkness will surround us. Do not fear. For in the inner depths we can experience the tone of love. In darkness germinates the seeds of compassion to bloom anew. I hear the sound of the dead calling from the afterworld. A musician, come to witness our grief and speak words of wisdom. The spirit of the dead.
Crosses in the borderland, with the red dots, they go hand in hand. The desert has its beauty, with its rainbows and its sunsets. For people who have walked the desert and have died, the last sunset is their soul that is fading, eventually being swallowed by the desert sea. Cruces en el desierto, red dots para el muerto. And the planets have shifted Climate is high. Oh, feel compassion, feel the love. All around. Crosses.
Are the ones we've been waiting for. There is space still for salvation and creation of a better world. So make your altars, dance and sing. Embrace your grief. This disruption is all part of what must be in the wheel of life during an evolutionary shift. Our ancestors and loved ones will always be with us. Their existence is our lasting gift, their song never fading. May we honor them with courage, dignity, and reverence.
Hi, everyone. I want to welcome our next guest. This is Sylvia, and Sylvia is with Homicide Survivors. And we started a relationship with Homicide Survivors, I think, 3 years ago. And last year, we invited you to participate in the finale ceremony with us. And I want to just ask you, tell us a little bit about Homicide Survivors, what it's meant to you, and kind of what the organization does.
Thank you for having me. Homicide Survivors is a nonprofit organization. We provide a variety of services to families after they have lost a loved one due to a tragedy, mostly homicide. Um, we have been participating in the All Souls Procession, and it is one of my favorite events. And to be asked to be included in the finale last year was a huge honor for myself personally. As a group, we have grown. These are one of the signs that we carry. I am an advocate and as well as a survivor. I lost my son 5 years ago, and it just made it more meaningful walking and holding. And if you've seen the procession and you've seen our group, we're growing, unfortunately, but we are growing. And it is such an impactful feeling, a meaningful feeling to know that all these people have lost. But then when you're in that little group with the homicide survivors, we all know we're all there keeping our loved one's memory alive, and that's what All Souls does for everyone. And it is just an overwhelming feeling of just being a part of it and walking in the different cultures. And last year we were right in front of the native drummers, and it was just, you were talking about the drummers, and you're just lost in that moment when you're walking. It's a beautiful event.
Yeah, it's meant a lot to us. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's meant a lot to us to be able to have you partner with us, to sponsor us. It's definitely there are these pockets of very funny celebratory kind of moments in the procession, and then being able to partner with homicide survivors definitely gives us a link to these moments of very deep grief and really intense experience. And we have been blessed to be invited as Flam Shen to create performance pieces for the annual event that Homicide Survivors has, which is National Day of Remembrance.
Yes.
And so in the next reel, we're going to see a piece that Flam Shen made for the last one, because the last one was a drive-in.
We were parked in our cars right outside here, and it was really, really heartfelt because of this COVID, this pandemic. We have been doing, like you were talking earlier, all we can to continue connecting to the families and to actually see physically the families, and a lot of them were really new. Their losses were just within months, and to come out and decorate your cars and see the slideshow, your performance, it was still really meaningful. I feel like we didn't even skip a beat. I mean, we got what we wanted, and that was to continue to honor our loved ones. And it was a great little event that in our cars, and we were here doing
Yeah,
what
and
we
there's
do.
a beautiful video. We're going to get to watch a video that was made of the event, and people can see how you guys flexed in this time. And it was really innovative. We were really proud to be part of it.
And I
Thank
think
you.
I think it's a really beautiful thing that you guys are available, because so many people come to All Souls not knowing how to grieve, not knowing about different groups that they can become involved in to be able to go through that process. And obviously the victims and the survivors of homicide are those, have more layers that they need to work on. And so to know for people that they have that resource to reach out to is a very powerful and beautiful thing. And I really want to thank you for coming out tonight and representing in that way, so that people do know that there is that continuation, because this is the ability to mourn publicly, but there's other layers of things that people need to work on to be able to get through their grief and start to hopefully help produce a better world for all of us through that. So
Right.
thank you.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people don't know what to do when you've lost somebody, especially tragically. And a lot of people don't know of homicide survivors. And because of our, partnership with you and having you, we do our NDOR, what we call the National Day of Remembrance, people are familiar with you and vice versa. And it is something that, once the funeral's over, it's not done. Some people have the court process, and then you have, for us, our services are ongoing. There's no time limit. We have people that have been coming to us for 20, 30 years, And sometimes they just go to our big events, our candlelight vigils. But to know we're still here is huge, especially right now. You know, we're doing a lot of Zoom, we do workshops, and one of my first workshops that I attended, which inspired me to continue doing it for homicide survivors, was an All Souls workshop. I made some lanterns the first year we lost my son, which at that time I didn't even know about homicide survivors. And to create and be creative and use that grief and create something beautiful and then go carry it in the procession it's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's really
Thank you so much,
healing.
Sylvia, for jumping in and joining us.
Of course, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Do I have like another second? I don't really think I do. I think we're going to watch a collaboration with Flamshan, a video collaboration between Flamshan and Basic Biology that we created for the National Day of Remembrance. And we're going to watch some footage from the last National Day of Remembrance. And then we're going to jump into the finale ceremony, which this year is Odaiko Sonora, Steve Roach, amazing visuals by Noctivision, Torne Wolf, and the Spirit Group attendants, a small contingent of Stiltwalkers, Hannah Hindley and Allison D, and me. And just a big shout out to everybody for coming out, sitting in the wind, our live audience, and all of our amazing sponsors, everybody that comes and puts in their time, their energy, their money, and makes this happen every year.
Thank you to everyone who's seeing us virtually and everyone who has sponsored and been a part of all of this. Queremos dar las gracias a todos porque han atendido, ya sea virtualmente o aquí en persona. Ha sido un año muy diferente y muy difícil de estar en persona, pero les agradecemos que hayan atendido como han podido y esperemos que tengan un año bueno y nos vemos pronto. Gracias.
Gracias.
My name is Jessica Escobedo. My mother, Dolores Escobedo, was only 52 when she was murdered. I tell her story in the hopes that it's going to help somebody one day not experience what we're going through and not experience what she went through.
People often want to know how Jaron died. And tonight I want to remember how Jaron lived, not how he left.
And as I look across the cars with the signs and the names and the pictures of your loved ones, I'm reminded that they were once very much a part of your life. They were vibrant people. They were people who contributed to your family in so many ways. And now you're no longer here physically with us.
I'm finding that whatever story I'm telling, it helps me. It opens doors to healing.
These are memories that will never be erased, and nor should they be, about what happened to our loved ones. But we have to go on. We have to do better by each other.